vibranium. Niggas wanna talk, but really ain't nothing to say to them. Are they really into me or are they just the enemy? Trust me, be vibing. If we don't, it's not the end of me. Buddy, all up on my shoulder like a brooch. I had to cut him off and blow the whistle. Now he call me coach. She is on your approach. You gotta come correct. When you're dealing with a guy that's king, show respect. Lefty's heavy bagger full of hecky steak. He said that I've been ducking in my toe to call me that. Same game, new lane, pop chain. Pants around your ankles like you win a chain gang. It's the same. It's tough, but live up to your potential. Don't have to be conformed, no, let them get in your mental. It's essential, cause we need you black kings and queens. And it's a shame they couldn't supply what they need. You see, first they wanna bone you, then they wanna clone you, then they turn around and try to kill you with ammonia. They can't understand why you look so young and built so strong, and how the heck you live so long. And then they act like the color of your skin is wrong. Never bought about a son, all we get is strong. But the crazy part is they really know the truth. And the truth is they really wanna be like you. Cause my cranium is full of vibranium, and your cranium is full of vibranium. Cause my cranium is full of vibranium, and your cranium is full of vibranium. Cause my cranium is full of vibranium, and your cranium is full of vibranium. Cause my
y'all ready for this?
Let's talk about sex, baby.
What the hell you talking about?
Let's talk about you and me.
You know what I want?
Big old freak.
You're now listening to the Sex with Ashley radio show.
What up, everybody? It is hump day. And you know, on hump days, we have the Sex with Ashley show. Thank you for joining me on this lovely Wednesday night. It's Wednesday night. So today we are supposed to be talking about Kenya Stevens. She's supposed to be the guest today, but she's not here yet. So we're gonna talk until she get here. But I have a guest co-host today. Her name is Chastity. Chastity is a sex therapist. Like, she's licensed, y'all. Like, she got like a real degree. They are here. Okay, so she is a licensed sex therapist. We're gonna bring Chastity on right now. Is Shawn here? My original co-host. I don't know where he's at either. Everybody is just MIA today. I don't know where the hell Shawn is. He is missing in action. But we hope everything's fine. But we have Chastity. Hey, girl.
Hey, boo. How you doing?
I am good. So tell the folks who you are, what you do. I told you were a sex therapist. Like, you're like the real deal Holyfield. You're like a real sex therapist. Tell the folks who you are.
My name is Chastity Chandler. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and certified sex therapist in the state of Florida. And I specialize in helping people be their best, authentic, and sexy self from the bedroom to the boardroom.
Good. So, like, Chastity's going to help me interview Kenya, who is here, by the way. She's here now.
Yay.
She's going to help me interview Kenya. So before we get started with that, I do like some little like banter I do with Shawn typically. And like, so it's been a long week, Chastity. It's been a long week. You know, we had Chadwick Boseman to die.
Yes.
And like, I'm still not over that. I feel like I need like some type of funeral, homegoing, something. I need to attend or watch something on TV for me to be able to process and then be like, yeah, he really gone. That was
had a tribute the other day. You missed it.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. I didn't watch that. But how was it? Did you watch it?
I was watching it as I was doing a few other things. It was a nice tribute. Heartfelt comments for sure.
Was like his any of his family members on there?
I didn't see his family members, but people that he's filmed with before and co-workers and stuff like that, you know, they were on.
Well, that's good. That's good. And then we were a little sad Friday, and then we kind of, you know, perked back up on Monday. I mean, with the Brandy and Monica. I'm Team Brandy. And my girl won. She held it down, you know, for us. Whose side were you on, Chastity?
To be honest, I love them, but I'm way more of a Monica fan than a Brandy fan. But I haven't watched any of the verses. I mean, don't pull my black card because I haven't, but I'm busy over here trying to build a whole dynasty, and I don't have time to be watching.
That was the first one I watched all the way through. So it was 3 hours. Usually I watch them and then like my ADD kicks in and then I have to like go do something else. But that Brandy and Monica was the first one that I watched all the way through to the end. So there's that one. So and I,
Listen, I would have loved. I need to figure out what channel it's on and all of that good stuff. I'll probably watch it because I love music and I'm definitely a fan. So, but yeah, I didn't catch it. I was busy trying to get this sex therapy school open, girl.
And tell us about that right quick.
Well, I'm not supposed to be talking about it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It's gonna kill me, but what I
Okay, never
will
mind.
say-
Never mind. You got to. Never
I
mind.
mean, I'll say a little something. I ain't gonna say
Oh,
nothing major.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, National Institute for Sexual Health and Wellness is the first sex therapy certification school that is geared towards BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous, and people of color. We will be offering sex therapy certification.
I hate that term, but go ahead.
You do? Okay, well, you hate that term, but we don't want to say Black. We don't want to say
I
African-American,
like Black because
that's
I'm Black.
all inclusive. I feel you. And it's a preference. Some like to be called Black, some like to be called African American. But what we've learned is when people say people of color itself, it's not inclusive of everyone. And it's kind of like a hush hush term. And so BIPOC, which is now this hot word or hot phrase or topic, however you want to say it, is more inclusive of all Black and brown folks. So the school is geared towards doing this work with all Black or brown folks. It will be the first school of its kind in the whole entire world. So I'm super excited and ecstatic, and it's made for all, specifically focusing on us, and we will be the teachers, we will be the instructors, we will be running the school. So I'm super excited about that. That's like groundbreaking.
And that's very good. I'm happy. I am happy for you.
So let's talk about why you don't like BIPOC though. Why do you not?
I don't like the term. I'm like, what is wrong with just Black or just African American? Like, I don't understand the indigenous. I just don't like it. Like, just call me Black. That's what I am. I don't need all the extra stuff. I'm Black. I'm not even real talk. I'm not even African American, really, because like African American to me are people who are African, like came from Africa or their parent came from Africa, and then now they're here and they're American. I'm Black. I'm a Black American. That's what I am. But whatever. But I just don't really. It's an okay term. It's just one of those things. So I ended my friends with benefits thing over the weekend with some dude.
Oh no.
No, oh yes. It's so to everything there's a season. That's in the Bible somewhere. That's a scripture somewhere. A time to be born, a time to die. And it was the time to die. And it was funny because he I told him that, for whatever, I told him the reason that I no longer wanted us to be engaged in our entanglement anymore. And he was like, oh, so it must be somebody else. No, it's not. I'm just not interested in continuing to fuck you. There's no one else. And like, he could not wrap his mind around the fact that I didn't want to have sex with him anymore without it being somebody. He's like, oh, I know it's somebody else. I know you're telling me the truth. I'm like, okay, well, whatever helps you to sleep at night, we'll go with that. But the fact still remains that I just don't want to fuck you no more. So yeah, he had a whole struggle with that.
Okay, did he take it okay? I mean, is he trying to slash your tires? Like, what's really?
Well, he doesn't live here. He lives hours away. So if he's that invested that he's gonna drive hours to slash my tires and boo, okay. But I guess upset. I don't know, but I just stopped responding to his text messages, so he'll be fine. So today we're talking to Miss Kenny Stevens. So bring her up, please, for me. We are talking about poly. Oh, there she go.
Hey guys.
Hey,
hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I was just trying to get my lighting right. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, you're fine. First of all, I need to shout out my shirt. My shirt says, "Don't waste your WAP." So that is from what is it? It's from Mess in the Bottle. So Mess in the Bottle, don't waste your WAP. And it's a quote from the ever so fabulous Demetrius Lucas. It's her quote, but I had to share that on today. So Miss Kenya, I am so glad you were here.
Me too. I am very excited. What's going on, y'all?
Nothing. We up here doing a little opening banter, talking about life and how long this week has been.
Oh wow, yeah, it has been. How long this year has been?
Yeah, because like I told somebody not long ago, I said Kobe died this year, and that feels like years ago at this point.
It does. It does. It was right before everything happened.
Right. And it's like, Jesus, like if we make it to the end of 2020, we all will be blessed.
Yes, we will. And we've done a lot of personal work. We have been at home doing a lot more self-reflection than ever before.
Ever before. And I like to shout out because you are in North Carolina. I'm also in North Carolina.
Are you? What part?
I live right outside of Fayetteville. You know what Fayetteville is? I can't hear you. Your sound went out. Mm-hmm. Can't hear you.
Let's talk about how Zoom crashed the other day.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. I hear you now, Kenya.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I live right outside of Fayetteville. That's where I'm from.
Okay, I'm up here in Asheville in the mountains. So you about 4 hours down the mountain from me.
Yeah, my cousin they used to live in Asheville. They lived there for a few years. So yeah, I used to go there to see them.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So we are glad you are here. So how are we gonna do this? Me and Chastity gonna ask you some questions about what you do, your life, and all that stuff. I know who you are, but tell the people who you are and what it is you do.
Okay, my name is Kenya K. Stevens. I am a love coach, more specifically a polyamorous love coach. I support couples married 10 years or more in moving from monogamy to polyamory or open relationship.
So I have a question. Why only 10 years or more?
Oh, they have to be serious. I mean, couples who are just starting out are not ready for polyamory. If they chose to get married, they want to be sexually exclusive. It's not until you hit 7 years, 14 years, 21 years that you're like, wait a minute, I'm gonna just be with this one person for life. God, let me call Kenny.
Because I've heard some couples who've been like married, I don't know, less than 7 years who have explored. That's why I asked the question. I don't know how well it's working for them, but they have brought the idea up.
Okay. Well, I understand you might want to explore earlier. I look at it case by case. Typically, okay. I don't get serious couples who want to really do this if they've not been married for 10 years or more.
And so, like, how do you know if someone's serious? What are like the key giveaways to tell them?
They have children. They want to maintain their legacy. Okay. They have great jobs. They don't want to lose all their money in a divorce. I work with celebrities, professionals, people who have a lot to lose in a divorce. You understand? Some people don't care about getting divorced because they don't care. They don't, it's nothing to lose. But right. I work with high stakes, highly functioning couples.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So what's the difference between, I heard you say a few minutes, you are a polyandry?
Polyamorous.
Amorous.
Yes.
So what is the difference between polyamorous and then polyandry?
Polyandry means I am a woman and I can have many husbands, but those husbands cannot have other partners. Polygyny means I'm a man and I can have many wives, but those wives cannot have other partners. Polyamory means both the masculine and the feminine can both have other partners.
Okay. And so y'all both have other partners?
Yes. My husbands have other partners. I have other partners.
And how many husbands do you have?
2 that live in the house.
Oh, so you have other husbands somewhere else?
I have other boyfriends. People who I consider, yeah.
So I know this might be different. I know, like I used to watch Sister Wives. And I don't know if that's a good example or not. Chastity's shaking her head like, that is the only example I have, okay? Like, you have to go with that.
That's fine. Go with that. Go ahead.
Chastity's like, no, it's not. Okay, so on Sister Wives, right? So you have the man, and so he's legally only married to, I think he was legally only married to the first wife.
Yes.
And then the other wives are, I guess, are wives in name only, but legally you're not married to them. And so whenever, I know when he got the last wife, I haven't watched it in years. I think wife number 4, I believe it was. The first wife had an issue. She became jealous, and it was a big issue in the house.
Yes.
So whenever you got your husband number 2, how did that transition? How did your first husband deal with that transition?
Well, that takes several years. I mean, we run a love academy, so we have a lot of tools, but it took me about 7 years to really share with hubby too all of the tools that we use to resolve conflict. So we don't have arguments. Like, nobody in my house is arguing. We do vent. And so if any of them have a problem with each other, they vent and we soothe that person's ego. But we don't have any type of like, oh, I'm jealous and it's just going to be a big problem in a house for weeks and weeks. We don't have that because we have systems that deal with communication and proper and authentic communication.
Okay, cool. I know in the past, or typically when I hear of people with multiple partners, it's the man's idea, most of the time.
Right.
Chastity, is that your experience?
Yeah, most of the time, because especially if we're dealing with Black and brown men, there's this big stigma with Black and brown men that they don't want their female to have another partner. Or if we do, it could be a female partner, but it cannot be another male partner. They don't want another. They don't want another penis in the mix at all in any kind of way, whether it's a sexual partner or not. They just something about she mentioned ego earlier, something about the ego or just this sense of being a man that Black or brown men are not as often as
receptive, as open.
Receptive, not as receptive or open. For most of them, it's a hard no.
Right. Even when I had a partner one time and I asked him about like a threesome type situation. Oh, it's okay to do a threesome with me, you, and another girl. But I was like, okay, so what about if I wanted it with 2 guys? Oh nah, I can't do that.
And that's most women's fantasy.
Right.
That they never get to have because their partner or partners are so closed-minded when it comes to involving another man.
Right. Well, that's unfortunate because I think that those men miss out on a lot. Now, I would never force my husbands to have a threesome with me. They've never done that because they're extremely hetero and they have that same attitude as those men you talking about. But I do have male partners who are willing to do threesome activity with other men who are just have a different mindset. They're more open-minded, so it just depends. You have to find the right guy for what you want.
So how in the hell did you convince your husband to be like, so I want another partner that I am having sex with regularly, for him to be like, okay, like how did that happen?
Well, he wanted that. So at year 11 of our marriage, year 12, he did want to have another female partner. He just happened to fall in love with somebody at his job. So he brought that to me, because we had talked about polygyny, where he has several partners. And I had like saying, well, that's something I might think about at some point. So he felt open to bring that to me. Okay. But at the time, after 12 years, I had more needs than I was getting met in that marriage. I had 3 children. I was doing a lot of work. I wanted to go on vacation with somebody who's totally new, get some new relationship energy. So when he told me that, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. Like, I would love to meet her, but I also want to have that experience.
And he said yes.
No, he said no. He said no.
He just told you that.
He said no for 2 full years after that conversation, but then he couldn't do it either. So, because if it's a no for me, it's a no for you. It's a no for everybody around the whole circle. Okay, that I just don't play that. I'm from Detroit. Like, I don't have that kind of demeanor to be like, oh yeah, you can do that, honey. I don't do nothing. I'll just sit over here and not get my needs met. What's not gonna happen?
And I think a lot of women do that. Like, we know that, okay, we're not okay with, maybe him going out and exploring, but because we are so afraid to lose a relationship, we just say, okay, you can do that, and I'll just sit over here and I'll just, be quiet, or I won't say anything, and then the whole time we're miserable. like it seemed to me like you were not like, listen, we're not doing this, and you were not like concerned, I guess, with losing the relationship. Like that was not.
No, but that's why I coach couples married 10 years or more with children. We had something at stake. You know, we had great careers. We were both Howard University graduates. My husband has an MBA. You know, he had a great job. Like, if he got a divorce from me, it was going to be a financial issue. Because, you know,
it's cheaper to keep her.
Right. So, and we love each other. Like, we were best friends by then. I had also had a male that I was interested in and told him about it at about year 4 or 5. And he said no at that time. So when he brought his lady to me, I just said no. I said, we have to work something out that's equitable. And I'm the queen of this castle, you the king, and we both deserve to be treated like royalty. I'm not the one to sit and be like whatever, and you're being treated like royalty. It just, I'm a queen, I'm a goddess. So that's just the discussion that we had.
So how long after the discussion did the first partner come into play, the additional partner?
Well, as I said, we discussed it for 2 years. He was like allowed to talk to the ladies that he was interested in. We just didn't get sexual for 2 years. We were in discussion. And by the time we finished those 2 years, I was such a lawyer with it that I went first. Because, you know, he realized the folly of this. He realized that he did want equality. And I'm not a feminist. I'm just saying women have massive needs that are not being fulfilled in these marriages and in this culture in general because of stigmas and things that are not even true.
Exactly. Now, I bet he learned that you having another partner didn't take away from y'all's relationship. And
No,
it better. That's the misconception that most people have, that when you have that additional partner, you're going to be taking away from the love, the energy, or whatever is going on in the household.
Right.
And I think it helped with them too, because they were already married for so long.
Right. Right.
Well, I have couples that I'm. Go ahead.
I can't imagine getting married right away and just jumping into polyamory unless I've been very open and I don't have kids. I don't want kids. I mean, while I was having kids, I couldn't even go out and have no other men.
You ain't got time.
I didn't have time, and I was big as a house. I mean, I didn't feel like, oh yeah, let me just go mingle. I'm pregnant. So we got past all of that before we did this. My youngest was 4 or 5 by the time.
That's really neat. Because, you know, I don't know, polyandry is something that in my mind, it sounds like something, you know, I don't know, maybe I can do that. I don't know exactly until you are in it. You don't know if you can do something or not until you're actually living it. I also know that I have a jealous thing with me, you know? Yes. So look,
I do too.
So how did you control that? Like, you know, women, we're kind of emotional. Like, how did you not, like, you know, slash his tires and stuff? Like, what are your secrets, sis? Like,
she don't want to go to jail. She told you all the stuff she got.
She don't want to go to jail.
Well, as I said, we created an online love academy. We have thousands and thousands of students. We created modalities to help us to undo our patterns. The only reason we would be jealous is because we had unhealed childhood trauma, abandonment issues, enmeshment issues, issues with self-worth, okay? So we had to heal those things as we moved through this relationship. Polyamory forces you to heal your stuff. Whereas monogamy, you can keep it. You can keep your insecurity, keep your jealousy, keep everything, and just tell your person, don't do shit to me. Because I have all these conditionings and I don't want them messed up. But no, we messed them up. We had to get rid of them. That's how we did it.
Right. So, so you guys have kids and you have 2 husbands in the household. So how does that dynamic work with your children?
Oh, our children, as they've been watching us, I said the youngest was 5, then there was a 7 and a 9 when we started. And we told them right from day one, because we don't feel shame about our love choices. We told our parents, we told our grandparents, you know, Big Mom, everybody.
And what did they say? What did your parents say?
Well, they couldn't say shit because look at their relationships. Look at their relationships. Okay, they're still together, but I know who cheated. I know who had a family across town. I know what men have been allowed to do since the beginning of monogamy. Like, we're not playing that game. Anything they said, I would have a counter say. And they didn't like it. So they stopped arguing with me.
That will shut somebody up, like, for real. To tell them, well,
look at uncle, look at auntie them. Look, they got a divorce. They got a divorce. Nobody is happy. Y'all
miserably married.
Right.
But I think, like, people, I say this all the time, that is no one way to do a relationship or marriage. I think, it has been so ingrained in us, and especially, if you're from the South and you're Black and you're in the Bible Belt, it's been so ingrained in us to, you have one husband, one wife, and that's it. Like, if John Gray, for example, was open, or if he was allowed to be able to to participate in an open marriage, maybe he wouldn't keep getting caught cheating. Like, maybe he wouldn't be straying if it was okay, or if he was like, no, I'm gonna live in my truth. Right. I like multiple people, and that's fine. Right. But I want to do that. So, that might be.
Yeah, but I think men like that don't open, A, because of the religion, but B, because they don't want their wife to do it. They want to have a privilege that they don't want their partner to have. So you have to do it in secrecy. Because if you're upfront about it, now you have to be equitable, like my husband realized.
I love it.
So do you think, I see this a lot on social media, people think the cure for cheating is open marriages?
No. Oh my God, you will fall hard on your face. When I take couples into an open marriage, I take them through a 4-step process. Step 1 is authentic communication, because monogamy does not require authentic communication. You can go to work today and your panties can be soaking wet about your work husband, and you will never tell your husband, ever. And your husband can go to work today and talk to his ex-girlfriend from college and make a plan to meet up with her, and he will never tell you. And so that's not authentic communication. And that's what monogamy requires. You can't tell your partner that. That's not right. You can't say that. So first they have to learn to actually say the truth. That's a learning process.
Yeah.
And that takes months for me, because they'll say something and I say, that's not what you're really saying. You're saying that you don't like having sex with him anymore. And you won't just come out and say that. You're saying that you think that, that she doesn't, you don't get an erection for her anymore. Why aren't you saying that?
Because that hurts people's feelings.
Right, but that's what polyamory.
Fuck they feelings. Because meanwhile over here, your feelings getting hurt.
Right.
And you feeling neglected, unwanted, unloved, and definitely unsatisfied. So
right.
And sometimes you gotta hurt somebody's feelings to get what you need.
And you don't have to hurt feelings. As I said, I teach them a whole communication system where they actually learn how to express a vent without hurting people's feelings. And it's not about being nice. It's about knowing that this is just my ego speaking, but I don't want to have sex with you anymore. This is just my ego. This is all ego. You have to contain your conversations. So I created a language system for my clients.
And I think that is really important for people who are not in open marriages. Just that part alone is a part I think all couples should probably learn how to be honest about this with like anything, especially with sex, because a lot of women are out here, because I get a lot of emails from women who are having sex, they're not being pleased, they don't really like it, it's not, it doesn't do the whole, fireworks thing, and then they're asking me, okay, so like, how do I get this to change? And my thing is like, I had one email specifically that said, the girl said her boyfriend asked her how was the sex, and she tells him every time that she likes it, but she doesn't. Like, why are you doing that? Like, be honest. You can say it without saying, nigga, your dick trash. You don't have to do that. You gotta do that. But you can say it in a way that, you know, he knows that you're not being satisfied, and hopefully it won't like bruise his ego. I mean, it still could, but at the end of the day, it's off your chest, and you say what you have to say.
And then at the end of the day, that's her problem. Like, it's not really a man's job to please me. I show up to the bedroom pleasable. I show up to the bedroom orgasmic. You understand?
Come on now.
That's how it is. And that's how I teach my clients how to become a pleasable woman. You may have been hurt or traumatized, or maybe something went on that you have to heal.
So how do we do that? How do we become pleasable?
Oh my gosh, that's a whole, I have a Blue Butterfly women's group. We take women every year into squirting, G-spot, ejaculation, U-spot, you know, all the orgasms all the way up the chakra. But that is a technique and a skill that has to do with personal work, and then you understanding your body and your spirituality. Sex is spiritual. Absolutely. So you got to get out of the pornography mindset and into the tantric mindset. That's how I do with women.
So how can we join that? How can we join that class?
Oh, go to progressiveloveacademy.com. Actually, I'll send you a link so your ladies can get 10 minutes free and can see what it is. But I'm telling you, progressiveloveacademy.com. We have 5,000 classes, 15 years of work, thousands of members and students who just take the classes and just soar.
Yeah.
I've made many squirters. I've made hundreds of squirters.
I think you said some really important things. I'm a sex therapist, and I'm actually studying cosmic sexuality right now. So we're talking about the tantra, the spiritual piece, and all of that. And I think sometimes people they have so many blockages because they haven't dealt with their own stuff, and then they're coming to the table in the relationship expecting to be pleased when technically they got all these things blocking them to be able to reach orgasm and all this stuff on their own. And so pleasure is a personal responsibility. And I think the more we take control of that and can go into the bedroom with that type of confidence, I think that changes the game totally.
Yes, it does.
Totally.
Yes, it does.
And
it makes you more horny. Because for me, there's never been a man who can be like, oh yeah, that's it, you're done. I'm not done. Tomorrow is gonna be more. It's the next day. Because the more that you are tapped into your pleasure, the more pleasure you can house.
And I think too, like for me, like Chastity, what I was telling you about, I got rid of the fifth benefits, and he was amazing penis, amazing dick, right? But I'm not the type of person, I don't get dick whipped because I know my body well enough to know that good dick comes because I know how to make it good, right? So I know, okay, this is great here, but the next dude, the next dude is also going to be great. So I'm not going to stay with you just because you think you got the best penis in the world, because I know enough about my body to make it great. So that's important too.
Smart woman.
It was a process to get here, but we here. Praise the Lord. Yeah. So, all right. So, if someone's interested in doing an open marriage, but they don't know how to talk about it with their partners, how can they do that?
They should go to progressiveloveacademy.com on Instagram or Progressive Love Academy and book a free coaching session with me. I take couples free for their first session. A lot of women book that session and then they say, I don't want to bring my husband to the first one. Let's just me and you talk. You have to be able to bring him to the table and have this discussion. If you want to prep him, go to YouTube, show him some videos. Don't talk about it like it's your thing. Just see what he's saying. Like, oh, look at this, baby. What do you think about this? That's how you get them prepped up. But then you got to bring them to an expert. I mean, you guys need tools to do this, or you're going to have a hell of a ride.
But what if, I don't know if I want to bring him yet. Because sometimes people are scared of what people are going to say, right? Like I tell people all the time, for example, somebody asked me how to bring up a threesome to their partner. I'm like, well, I would kind of like show maybe like a porn clip or an article I read, right, and be like, what do you think about this? Yeah. And then based on their response, you kind of segue into whatever
Right. But that's what I mean about the inherent lie of monogamy. You have to constantly have a whole nother set of thoughts that you can never share with your partner. They locked up in your mind. Do your partner even know you? No, they don't.
But I believe that you should be able to do that in a monogamous relationship as well. And
Me
I
too.
see couples and help couples to be able to have that level of authenticity. But see,
Yes.
this is the problem. We are so quick to get physically naked, but we're a lot slower to get emotionally naked. And that emotional nakedness is what's necessary to be able to even remotely navigate any type of consensual non-monogamous relationship. But if you already thinking about all the things you want to do to all the people in your head, boo boo, 9 times out of 10, if you cannot figure out an ethical way to navigate this, you're gonna end up cheating. And this is why we got so many John Grays of the world and so many of all the other people we see that always use sex addiction as a scapegoat when they get caught cheating. I'm not saying that sex, we're not gonna get into that tonight, but we see a lot of that. I know I see a lot of that in my years of doing couples counseling and holding this space for people who are wanting something. Most people are wanting something other than monogamy. But instead of navigating that early, they wait. They come to somebody like me when their relationship on their last leg, asking me to help fix it. But you knew 20 years ago that you wanted more than one partner, but you never said nothing to your wife or your husband. Right. And now here we are 25, 30 years in, kids all grown. There's no real reason or vested interest to stay in this relationship. So now you're ready to toss it all to the side and step into your authentic truth of what you wanted from the beginning. So for me, I think that these conversations should start in the beginning. Yes, it's great to transition somebody at year 11 or year 12, but we need to have enough confidence and enough know-how in ourselves to be honest with what we want. So many people are not honest about what they want, need, and desire, and that's part of the problem. You first have to know that before you can be able to communicate that to somebody else. And I think in the Black and brown communities, the stigma of sex and all of this other stuff has really tainted our thought process, and so we can't even imagine really embracing what we truly want and what we truly desire, let alone verbalize it and then verbalize it to our partner.
Yeah, I was going to say 85% of divorce is led by women because women want more sex. They want more men. They have to get a divorce to do it. That's what they think. But I believe what you're saying, it starts in the beginning. I mean, our programs are for singles. They're for people who have not got into this world yet. We have this system called the choice paradigm, where we support women and men in understanding that you'll never get everything you need from one person, not ever. So I think singles should understand that when they get married. That's just not the reality of marriage. So there are these 4 choices that we have. One is like womb choice, where you get with this guy and he's this primal sexual partner. Then there's support choice. That's like your friend zone. You usually friend zone him because he's just like a best friend type, husband, domestic type. You have a crown choice, you have a money choice, you have different choices. And women and men need to understand that, and that you can have more than one. Everybody dating is already poly, so.
And I think, see, women these days, they're not dating like that though. And I think that that's part of the problem. A lot of women feel like because of that double standard and how society views it, that you can only date one person. So meanwhile, you dating one person, got your eggs all in one basket. And meanwhile, if it's a heterosexual couple, he is out here dating multiple people. And I think that that is what bred, what is it called? Black men don't cheat, or Black men, it's a whole movement now because of all these situationships and entanglements we get ourselves in as Black women, because we get into these relationships and we all in. We like them, so we dropped everything. We off the dating site, we shutting shop down. But meanwhile, they're still engaging with all the other people. So I definitely agree with you, and it should be that way. Dating by definition means I am seeing people to see who I want to be with exclusively.
Yes.
Not putting all my eggs in one basket, but that's what we're known for doing it and programmed to do, especially high functioning Black women. And that's Black and brown women, I would say.
Yeah, we definitely are, because I had a whole thing about rotational dating, and then some people were like, oh, I don't want to do that, but why not? Because if I'm not in a monogamous relationship, then I am dating to know, to see who's the best fit. And like you said, Kenya, you said, Eric, you're not going to get what you want you're not going to get everything you want in one person. And I think for me as a single woman, and a lot of single people, we think that we're going to get everything we want.
Well, that would defy the laws of human physics, because humans need to have community to survive. So if we could physically and literally and emotionally get everything we needed from one person, we would never commune. Humans are a communal species. That's how we stayed alive without fangs and claws in the wild, because we gather in groups, not in couples like gibbons or geese. 4% of mammals are monogamous. Humans are not a monogamous species.
No, we're not. But I think for women, especially single women, because I'm single, so I'll talk for single women. I think it's hard for us sometimes because we have this list of things that we want, right? And then we measure up men to see how close, or they have to have everything on this list. I need somebody who is, 7 foot, 6 figures, whatever the list consists of. And then we sometimes maybe like this person might not be 7 foot, maybe they're 5'8", I don't know, but because they don't have everything that we want, we kind of bypass them. Versus if we were open, we could have the 6 foot dude. And then we have the husband over here who has everything else, like the 80-20 rule they did in the Tyler Perry Why'd I Get Married thing, like the 80-20 thing they talked about, kind of like that.
It would be nice. I think that's what the world is coming to. My daughter's 19 and she's poly for life. She's not going to go through the whole thing. And she said unless she gets, she's going to have children, she wants to settle down and stop for a minute, but she's going to be poly. She'll let her husband know before they marry. That's what she told me.
But when you really think about it, we just grew up knowing that. I wrote a whole thing about it today and it didn't even dawn on me I was going to be on the show tonight. But monogamy is the default. It was the only option we had, and majority of us, it is tied to our religious beliefs as to why we feel that way. But in the Bible, men had multiple wives.
And concubines, hoes on the side,
all of that. And I believe the only contingency was that he had to be able to afford to take care of them. So, I know there's a whole like a la carte Christian thing, right? We take and choose what bits and pieces we want to apply. But these were the relationships back in those days that were acceptable, right, that were expected, and probably why, and I haven't read the Bible in a long time, I'm gonna just be honest, probably why I bet the women were probably more pleased in that day as well. But I don't know if the women were able to have multiple husbands. Though.
They were. That's what the Bible left out. Because
really?
Solomon had thousands of wives, but they don't tell history from her point of view. Those women were not all just having sex with Solomon as they had other partners.
He ain't gonna be able to handle all that anyway.
He can't.
No, but they're not going to put that into a Western Bible of today, just like they had trouble putting our story on television. They don't want to show an intelligent, self-determined, brilliant family who is African-American, who's like cool with this. Because then what happens to the tax brackets? What happens to poverty? What happens to our children living in family homes and jacked up? What happens to the hood? What happens to everything that's negative that they're holding in place? I'm not saying any particular they. I'm talking about the culture. It is designed not to be supportive to humans. So they don't want a supportive way of being. That's not what they're wanting to create. But that's what I'm creating because I don't give a damn what they want.
Right. You're creating your own path and your own thing, and I love it. To go back to something that you said earlier, you said that you think people, it was either you or Chastity, people should say what they want in the beginning. But do you think that as you progress, your what you want changes? Like, I may not want an open marriage in the beginning, so I may not know to say that.
Yeah, I didn't know to say that. I didn't know it was even possible. So I never heard of that.
So like I can't tell my partner, in the beginning, I may want to sleep with other men. So I'm going to have to, he might not be with it.
But why you can't though, Ashley? That's the question.
Why
can't you tell your man?
But you may not feel that. When I got married, I was in the new relationship energy. I didn't feel like I needed another man. I didn't know what marriage would produce. I asked my mother when I got married, because after like 2 years, he stopped having sex with me as much. I said, Mom, why is my husband not having sex with me? Like, I'm cute. I have a nice body. I didn't have no kids yet. And she was like, oh, baby, that happened. Maybe just put on some porn. I was like, porn? Why didn't you tell me this? Like, you have to tell people what to expect. Your man is going to stop having sex and just be like, oh, baby, leave me alone. Like, what the?
Oh, so men stop having sex because according to men, it's always us. It's always we're the ones who always stop having sex.
No, you tell them. You know, this is not just women. This is any human in a long-term relationship where they cannot be with anybody else. Your sex drive goes down over time. It's a chemical. It's a bonding chemical, and you need it to bond. But once you bond it, it's going down because we're naturally meant to bond with many. So you bond with this one, okay, you're good. You're good for life. Bond with this one, you're good. Bond with this one. I'm coming down with my second husband right now. I did the bonding with my first husband. I'm not like, ooh, I want to have sex with my first husband so much. No. Okay, now the second husband, I'm coming down off that high because we've been together almost 8 years now. And so that's going to change.
Is it time for a third husband now?
Yeah, I told them. Younger man to train anyway. I mean, you know, they not going to be able to lift stuff up pretty soon. They old, you know.
So are y'all on like a set schedule? Like Monday, Tuesday is first husband, Wednesday, Thursday is or it's just however you feel at the time?
No, we're on an abundance schedule. All of us have an abundance of lovers. We don't have like to schedule sex because we're getting enough sex. People schedule sex when there's a scarcity of sex.
So y'all just let it do what it do, and it works for y'all because there's seems like the energy is conducive for that in your household. And so a lot of us are envious because this is like dream formation.
Well, come on, make your house now. I have helped many women get their second husband. I have a girl in Atlanta who has 2 partners, and I actually hooked them up. I did the matchmaking thing there and found her another husband who would get along with her first husband. This is what I do. This is what we do. We have several episodes like this.
So they're black.
They're black.
Yeah, they're black.
Listen, I have to ask these questions. That's a question because
this is the thing though. I think more and more black and brown folks are interested in the various consensual non-monogamous relationships. And there are some who are actually open, and there are black men who are poly, who are open to their female partner having other male partners. They're out there. Now they're few and far in between, but they exist. But I think there's a certain level of self-work again that has to be done. That man is securing his manhood. He's securing who he is, how he shows up. He's securing his relationship. And I think the insecurity and the egos is kind of what keeps people from being able to have successful polyamorous, polyandry, or consensual non-monogamous relationships.
Right. Monogamy, men have utilized monogamy to feel secure in their manhood. They utilize what you're doing with your vagina to say whether they're a man or not. My husbands, they got out of that a long time ago because they're not going to be able to use what I do with my body as a symbol of their manhood. What I do with my body have nothing to do with their manhood. But they have a Peaceful Warriors men's group with 100 men in there. I date Peaceful Warriors because they're already going through the personal work and the training for this type of relationship. You need the training. It's like a karate or Aikido. You can't just walk in there and do it. It takes training.
A lot of time we're trying to make these relationships work with people who still have a monogamous mindset.
Yes. That's true. So hold on right quick. So if you have a question for Kenya and you watch it on Facebook, post it in the comments, and then we will ask her the question. So I'm gonna say that right there so they can start asking questions. But yeah, I think that some people do try to do this with people who are monogamous and don't really want to be open. But then again, maybe you don't know you want to be open either until you got in a monogamous relationship and realize that this is not for me.
Right.
So then what you do? Do I leave my husband because he's like, no, absolutely not?
No. I mean, I wouldn't. When I come across women who have a husband who won't budge, I always go back to the 3-way mirror, which is a tool that I teach. You not getting nothing but your own reflection. Okay, if your man have a problem with you and poly or with your sexuality or whatever, it's a reflection of something in you. It's a pattern, it's a proclivity, or it's a potential. If it's a proclivity, that means one-on-one, you would have a problem if he did it. Okay, and you secretly not saying that, you not really understanding that. Okay. Or your father was like that. and now you're attracting men who are like that. You have to work on you. And then everybody in your environment will shift to what you need and desire. But you're trying to work on them. Well, he won't let me. Well, you have to be secure in it in order to attract somebody who's secure in that.
And I hate that word, let. Oh my gosh, we're all adults. What do you mean let? Got permission.
But I still feel like, and this also could be my, blockage, my own issue. Okay, so I'm gonna say that, ahead of time. But I still feel like I can work on me all day, right? I can go through your class, do all the things I need to do, and then there are some men who still gonna be like, no, hell no.
But why would you attract them if you're not also a hell no, or if you don't believe in your spirit that men will always say hell no to you?
Okay, well, what if I attracted them prior to your class, though?
Well, then they would fall away and be instantly replaced by those who will.
Hello.
Okay.
I mean, we're gods on this planet. That's why I don't know where we went wrong. We forgot. We're attracting our entire life. Nothing's happening without our permission. We're granting everything into existence.
Someone said, move on and leave dude alone. And that's easy to do if I'm single, but everybody, some people, maybe I'm a stay-at-home wife. My husband is the breadwinner. It's not as easy to just leave situations all the time. So that's why I asked that question.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave. I don't leave anyone. I don't have any reason to break up with anyone. It's ridiculous.
Oh, so you make them break up with you?
Yeah, if they want to break up with me, they can, but I will never break up with anybody. I don't have a reason to, because I'm working on myself. I'm looking at my reflection. So that's a part of the poly toolkit that we use, the three-way mirror.
I like that. So again, tell the people where they can find these classes. I'm gonna sign up. And what kind of classes did you have?
Sure, we have Open Relationship Volume 1, Open Relationship Volume 2. We have our book on the communication system. We have 5,000 classes online. We brought thousands and thousands of couples into a lifestyle, whether you're monogamous or polyamory, but a lifestyle of power and living in your relationship like you have some damn sense, and really getting out of the Western ego, insecurity, dealing with your stuff. We do all of that at progressiveloveacademy.com.
And I imagine that takes a long time to do, because the Western thinking is what we've been raised to do. So like, how long does the class last? A year?
Well, we have all our classes last 1 year. They start September 21st and they end September 21st. So they're about to start. But I do it every year. I've done it every year for 20 years. So every year I peel off another layer of bullshit. Because there was a time when I didn't want my husband to look at another woman. Don't help a bitch with her groceries. Don't even exchange a glance. I mean, that's where I was.
Right.
And so you know how much I had to work off of me in order to have women living here for 2 years with my partner. All types of stuff have happened where I've been a different new person every year.
And that's growth, baby. Let me tell you, I don't know. I know people. I don't know if I think I could be okay with my husband having a partner. I don't know if I will be okay with that partner living in the house with us.
Listen, my dream is like a custom built house with like 2 master bedroom suites in it. Like that is like my dream house. And I'm gonna get that house before 2025. Now, who that other partner gonna be, and who that other partner's gonna be, I don't exactly know that yet. But the house is happening.
You gonna do like a Will and Jada, because that's what they supposed to be doing.
I don't know if I'm gonna do a Chastity and whoever it is. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do me.
That's awesome.
You and your partner on one end, and then your husband, his partner on the other end of the house. That's how that gonna work. Chastity?
It don't necessarily got to be on the other end, but what we thought about too was I need a playroom, right? I need a room where we can all come together if that's what we choose to.
That's nice.
Play. But I think it's okay to have it in their faces, but I think it's also okay to have some privacy with your partner. And so for me, I think the 2 master suites is gonna be perfect. I don't know how. I'm just manifesting that thing right now. So all of that good energy can come my way, but before 2025, the house will exist. Now, will the partner exist is the question.
Yeah, it does. Yes, I'm manifesting the partners with you.
There you
Come on,
go.
let's go.
The right
Let's go.
combination of partners now. Manifest that thing.
Yes. And I use sex to manifest so much stuff. You know, it's like I've manifested my whole life with sex and sensual energy. So you could do that. You know, you got to get a good lover and manifest your partner with him.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
So if a couple know they are interested, right? So how do you suggest they start? Baby steps with like threesomes and they kind of work their way up, or do they just go in full-fledged, start dating other people?
No, never start dating other people. As I said, we have 4 steps. Step 1 is authentic communication. Step 2 is friendships of the opposite sex. And then I take my partners through all 4 steps until they're all the way there.
Friendships. Okay.
Friendships. If you can't have if you can't have romantic friendships without having sex and your partner know about them and meet them, you're not ready for polyamory.
What'd you say, Chastity?
Oh no, that was a good point that she made. I definitely agree with that as well. I was saying that she held up one of her books earlier. I would like for her to hold that back up if she can, so that way we can let people know.
The Art of Open Relating.
And are they found on Amazon, or we have to go to your website to buy them?
No, this is all Amazon, and they're all on Kindle as well. And so you can get The Art of Open Relating. That tells you the 4 steps to open love, and it gives you the basic primer tools that you'll need moving into an open relationship.
Oh yes, yes. That's a good book just to read. I'm gonna have to get that.
Yeah, I need that for my toolbox. I got a couple of them up there, but I definitely need.
Yes, you're gonna need that, Miss Double. 2 double master bedrooms.
It's custom built. It's happening.
That's happening. Yes, I love it. My husband is away a lot of the time because he has 4 girlfriends who live in the city. So they moved up here. You know, Asheville's tiny.
Yeah.
They moved up here to be with him. And so he's there, you know, more circulating there, where me and hubby too mainly have this house a lot of the time.
Your husband has 4 girlfriends, including you?
I'm his
wife. Come on now.
I'm just listen. I'm just saying.
My husband has a lot of girlfriends. He don't have. I mean, my first husband. Yeah, my first husband is a Gemini. I mean, he likes variety. He's not.
How he mad?
One time for the Gemini.
He managed 5 women. Like, I will be crazy.
He has more than 5. I mean, he has way more.
To put a number on this man's partners now.
Listen, I'm just saying, I would be crazy. I would get conversations confused. I would miss birthdays. I had to have a whole planner just for my dates. Like, okay, today's her birthday. Like, I couldn't do it.
Right. Well, he somehow does it. They be getting mad and stuff though, so he must miss some birthdays.
So, do y'all communicate? Do you communicate with the girlfriends and vice versa?
Oh yeah, they come over the house. They help me with stuff. If I go out of town, they come water my plants. They bring their kids over here. They babysit. I mean, they have to help out. If they're in this city, they gotta help me out. I told them. I tell them all.
Out. You got to help out. You're gonna be moving here. You got to help out.
Right. I mean, they work for me. Most of them work at my company. I have 30 employees at Progressive Love Academy, and they're all coaches. So I've trained most of them to be a coach. So I certify coaches.
So this has been a very insightful conversation. Chastity, do you have any other questions?
No, I'm gonna be in touch though, because this is one of the areas of the arenas I specialize in with couples, and I'm always trying to learn more and do more. So maybe I'm already, your website is already pulled up right here, so I'll definitely be in touch. Don't forget me, Kenya. I'm Chastity Chandler. I'm a little small fry now, but I mean, someday soon I might be.
I love your energy, Chastity, as well as you, Ashley. And I'm just so happy that after 15 years of working in this arena, literally. People used to be on the thread cussing me out every day. Lipstick Alley, people calling me all kind of hoes. That finally, no, this was in 2005 we started this business and this work. Nobody was doing this.
Yeah.
So now that people are like, oh wow, okay, we want to talk about this. We're interested. It just makes my heart warm, and I don't feel so alone.
So them same women that probably calling you a bitch and a hoe and all that stuff, they now probably trying to apply to your program.
They have written me. They have DM'd me. They have said, I get it now after 15 years.
I'm sure.
My bad, girl. I didn't catch on soon enough, but I'm going to need your help now.
That's okay. I forgive and release. I understand it's hard.
Well, can you tell us before we close where we can find you on social media and then your website and all that stuff?
Yep, Progressive Love Academy on Instagram, progressiveloveacademy.com on the web, and Progressive Love Academy on Facebook. If you go to the site, you can see all of the courses. We are having an academy tour tomorrow night for our 6 programs that start on September 21st. Just click on my Instagram to get all my deets.
And so your classes, your courses, they're virtual, correct?
They're virtual, yes.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Well, I thank you, Kenya, for being on the show, and hopefully the people in the comments, they had all these things to say, so they really liked you. So hopefully you learned something, and go follow her, people. Go follow her on Progressive Love Academy on all the places. And Chastity, thank you for being my guest co-host today.
Oh, of course. I really appreciate you having me.
Well, thank you. Until next time, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Come and play outside my dreams. You're not really just a fantasy. I just wanna plant my seed.